I was somebody always interested in social affairs and politics. My sisters used to call me this geeky person. You know, me and my dad would have this love about, we'd watch Panorama, Question Time, News, and we'd always talk about politics, and they'd be like, oh my God, you know, it's so boring. So my dad loved to hear my stories about the travels, you know, because he was really into all of that. And the following year then, I was able to, you know, I wanted to go and live in a kibbutz in Israel. So I found this organisation in London, and I filled out the forms, you know, this procedure you go through, and yeah, arranged the tickets. So I fly to Tel Aviv and get there, and this minibus comes and collects all the people that have come off the same flight. And it's quite late. I remember it being about 11 o'clock at night, and so this van takes us to this like hostel kind of place. It's clean, it's nice, you know. And he shows me into a room and he said, right, this is where you're sleeping. And in the morning, you're going to the office at this time and you're meeting this woman. Well, I look around me and I see bunk beds of people asleep, men and women. And I'm thinking, I can't sleep here. This is really bizarre. I remember sleeping in my clothes. I don't think I slept that night, just worried about, is somebody going to steal my things? Like, you know, feeling quite vulnerable. It was fine. I went to the office in the morning, and there were lots of people there that come together, so I was there on my own. And the woman said to me, she said, I'm going to deal with you last, but let me tell you, wherever you're going to go, it's going to be amazing. So I was like, okay. So I sat there, and so then she writes down on a piece of paper all this stuff, and she says, here you go. She goes, where I'm sending you is like heaven on earth. She said, it's an amazing place. And I said, okay. And I said, well, how do I get there? She goes, well, the instructions are on the paper. You just go to the station and you just get there. And I was like, well, where's the station? You know, she's like, don't worry, you'll find it. Off you go, kind of thing. So I was like, this little piece of paper out there in the streets with my backpack. Found the station, you know, eventually. Got the bus. Got another bus, and and surely enough, she was absolutely right. I was at Kibbutz Dotiam, which is absolutely on the beach, next to, it's part of Caesarea, which is a beautiful place of Israel, and it was next to the old amphitheatre, which had a Roman excavation, so absolutely historically amazing place. And I get there, and I go to the volunteer quarters, and there's like people from all over the world, like South Africa, Europe, you know, you name it. So, and that was amazing. So I got to work in the kitchens. And, you know, up until then, your view of Israel is everything you see on the TV, that it's, you know, war-torn and it's just conflict kind of thing. And yes, you do, you know, I did see the sort of young people in the army with the guns, you know, but that's about it really. So the kitchen I worked in had Arabs and Jews, Israeli Jews working there, and very harmonious. And actually a lot of people got on, which was quite nice to see. And that was just a beautiful place. And I made friends with a woman there who's a very famous sculptor. Yeah, Lazzi is her name. She's French Jew, a French Jewish woman who lived on the kibbutz and had an amazing studio. And actually she introduced me to a writer who's now become one of my favourite writers, Milan Kundera. And a love of books is what we shared. And so I'd spend a lot of time sitting and talking to her. And quite remarkable actually how successful a lot of Jewish people are, and so much talent that was there, and it was quite an incredible journey actually. And surprisingly, a lot of them knew about India, because actually after they do the army, most of them go travelling in India. So they were really fascinated that here's a Sikh woman, her parents are from Punjab, come to kibbutz, and they could talk to me about their travels in India, so that was quite fascinating. I was, you know, really taken back. Yeah, and I loved it. You know, I really loved my journey there. I managed to get to go to Sea of Galilee, Jerusalem, just, you know, travel around, and it was just quite eye-opening and quite a beautiful place, really. So I met some lovely, lovely people.